What up, guys? GangstaPranksta here, bringing you my annually episode of how I would book Bound for Glory 2013. I've been doing this for the past couple years with the big shows, WrestleMania, Bound for Glory, and here we are again. Bound for Glory season is just around the corner, about a week and a half away, I'd say. And the card has, I don't want to say it's fully revealed, but most of the matches, all the big matches have been announced. We'll go through the card in just a second, but this is just a series where, I see what they have, and I'm like, if I was in charge, this is what I would do, and how I would book the whole pay-per-view. And if you want to see the whole match card right now, a link, not a link in the description. If you open up the description, all the matches should be there, and I'll explain all the storylines that would be going into it and everything like that. So, yeah, we'll talk about that later on. So let's quickly talk about the Bound for Glory card as of right now, which is October 11th. So Bound for Glory is 9 days, and their card so far, they have 5 matches. Or 6, not including the, 6, and then 7 including the pre-show. So on the TNA Bound for Glory card right now, from bottom to top, we have ODB, Gail Kim, and Brooke Tesmacher for the Knockouts Championship. The pre-match, which is a tag team gauntlet match with the Bromans, Bad Influence, Joseph Park, and Eric Young, and Chavo and Hernandez. Winner will take on James Storm and Gunner on the main card for the TNA Tag Team titles. We have an Ultimate X match for the X Division Championship. Austin Aries, Manik, Chris Sabin, Hardy, and apparently Samoa Joe's been added to that. That's news to me. Next we got Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode. Next we have Magnus versus the Icon Sting. And last but not least, we have the World Heavyweight Championship match, AJ Styles versus Bully Ray. So at first, it looks like a decent card. Personally, when I started thinking about this a couple weeks ago, because I was watching TNA, and AJ won the Bound for Glory series, and it really got me thinking. Or that didn't get me thinking. All the people that they started releasing, Mickey James, Matt Morgan, Mr. Anderson, Tara, countless other names, all these people getting released from TNA, I was like, what is Bound for Glory going to look like? So I go on the roster, I take a look, and I'm like, there's not very many people on this roster. Like, Bound for Glory is going to suck dick. And I'd say this is a pretty weak Bound for Glory card, like, in my opinion. I mean, you got some good matches, but overall, it's just like, you load the X Division match with, 3 big guys, Samoa Joe, Aries, and Hardy. I don't know why you wouldn't break that up, maybe have, a Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy match. I think that'd be pretty cool on Bound for Glory. But, I don't know, the card just looks blah to me. I have come up with what I think is a better card. And at the end of the episode, you can let me know, would you buy my Bound for Glory, or would you, buy TNA's Bound for Glory? So let's quickly get into my Bound for Glory. So, I have 8 matches in total, and let's just quickly go through them. So let's go through our first match. We're going to go through it fully. So my first match would be a 4-way for the TNA TV title, which would be Kenny King, Jay Bradley, Eric Young, and Rob Terry. In my personal opinion, TNA has an awesome roster, right? You got awesome divisions and just an incredible talent of roster, a roster of talent. That didn't make any sense, whatever. And, there's a lot, you got the X Division, you got the Tag Team Division, you got the World Heavyweight Division, but you got, the mid-card. Guys like Jay Bradley, Eric Young, Rob Terry, who kind of just flounder around. They're not in anything substantial. They're just kind of put in feuds from time to time. And it's this is what the whole back when TNA had a roster 50 people, when they really could have used the TV title for guys like Rhino and shit, who else? There were so many guys. But Rhino and other guys in the mid-card. Now their mid-card's not as big, but I think it's still big enough to have a TV title division, in my opinion. So in this match, we have Kenny King, Jay Bradley, Eric Young, and Rob Terry. And, maybe even throw Ethan into this. They have Ethan coming in, which is Derek Bateman. He is Ethan Carter the Third, which I don't know. It's ridiculous. Like, of all the people they can bring in, they bring in Derek Bateman. I just thought that was pretty ridiculous. But you know what? I'm not gonna shit on it before I see it. I'll see it and then shit on it, or maybe I might not even shit on it at all. But at first glance, it's kind of like, bleh, like it just looks terrible. So in this match, I'd probably have it would be an elimination match. So it would probably take a Rob Terry first, then probably Kenny King, and then the final two participants would be Jay Bradley and Eric Young. Now, I know on TNA's Bound for Glory, they have Joseph Park and Eric Young as a team. Personally, I don't like Joseph Park as a character, so I wouldn't have him on my Bound for Glory. That's why I have Eric Young wrestling the singles wrestler, because I like him, and I really don't want him associated with Joseph Park. So Joseph Park is not even on my Bound for Glory, so that's one thing. So I would have Eric Young and Jay Bradley, the final two people in the match, and then I'd have Jay Bradley steal the win and be the heel TNA TV champion and feud with Eric Young over like the next month, maybe month and a half, for the TNA TV title. That's what I would do if I was in charge, but I don't know. That I'd bring back the TNA TV title. Like that's one of the things I would. So that would be our opening match. Next match, we have ODB versus... I don't have a name written down yet. There's a couple people like I thought about who could be in this match. At first, I had Brooke Tesmacher, mainly because, she's a heel, and heel versus face at the show, it was only right. And then I thought of, what about Gail Kim? She's a heel too. And then I'm like, but they already kind of feuded before ODB won the title, and I don't think people would want to see that again. They would want to see something fresh. So I'm like, maybe Tarryn Tarrell. Tarryn Tarrell comes back. We'll just say that Gail Kim and Gail Kim attacked ODB 1 week on Impact. Tarryn Tarrell makes a save. ODB, Tarryn Tarrell get into a match. Winner faces ODB for the title. And I'd probably put in Brooke Tesmacher instead of Gail Kim, and maybe make it a three-way at the pay-per-view. Tarryn Tarrell, Brooke Tesmacher, and ODB. I didn't really narrow it down to like who I wanted, but I knew I wanted a heel or I wanted Tarryn Tarrell. So it'd be like Gail Kim, Tarryn Tarrell, or Brooke Tesmacher. You might even make it a whole four. Nah, I wouldn't have another four-way because the opener was just a four-way. Maybe a triple threat. ODB, Tarryn Tarrell, and Brooke Tesmacher. I think that would be the best. I don't know. I'd probably end up on that, the three-way. Tarryn Tarrell, Brooke Tesmacher. Brooke has got a big ego now because she's with the world champion Bully Ray and all that stuff. And then she comes out, demands a title shot from ODB. Brooke attacks ODB. Tarryn makes the save. Tarryn and Brooke, they wrestle a match on Impact. Winner faces ODB at Bound for Glory. We'll just say that it goes into time limit draw of some sorts, maybe a 10-minute time limit draw, or they both get counted out. Stipulation to where there is no winner, and then the both of them go and face ODB at Bound for Glory. So that would probably be my Knockouts title match. ODB, Tarryn Tarrell, and Brooke Tesmacher in a three-way for the Knockouts title. And I'd probably have Tarryn Tarrell win. At first I didn't like her too much, but now she's kind of grown on me. She's had some good matches with Gail Kim, especially at Slammiversary, that last Knockout Standing, her ladder match, and she's progressively gotten better. So, maybe let's give her a run with the title. So, three-way for the Knockouts title. Next we have Bad Influence versus Sting and Samoa Joe. This will actually lead into the next match as well, which will be Bobby Roode versus Magnus. So we all know Bobby Roode cost Magnus his, I don't want to say cost, well, yeah, he did cost him, but he also attacked AJ too. So Bobby Roode interfering versus Magnus' match against AJ Styles, the finals of the Bound for Glory series. Magnus wants Bobby Roode's head for costing him that shot. So that would lead into a match on the at Bound for Glory in a one-on-one match. But then you got Bad Influence and Sting and Samoa Joe. Of course, Bad Influence is affiliated with Bobby Roode. Of course, they're known as Ego. And same thing with Magnus, Sting, and Samoa Joe. They are the main event Mafia. So it kind of be a faction versus faction. I thought about maybe making this a six-man, but you definitely want to have Roode and Magnus one-on-one at the pay-per-view. So that would leave Bad Influence to face Sting and Samoa Joe in a tag team match. I think it would be a pretty good match. At first, I didn't want Sting on my pay-per-view. I'm just like, you know what? He's older. I just wish he would go away from TNA. But then I'm like, you know what? I can throw him in this little match. So originally, I had I changed the card a couple times. Originally, I had Bobby Roode, Magnus, and Samoa Joe in a three-way. What it would have been was Magnus and Bobby Roode, they would have been feuding. Samoa Joe tries to take off Magnus off Bobby Roode because he's putting a hell of a beatdown on him. And then Magnus kind of, I don't want to say turns heel, but he's in such a fit of rage that he doesn't really know what he's doing. Attacks Samoa Joe because Samoa Joe's trying to take him off. And then, you know, Magnus would be like, what, Joe, you're helping them? You're turning your back on me? Whatever. And then it would kind of lead to a three-way Bound for Glory. That's what I originally had. And then I'm like, you know, I don't want that. I'll have Magnus versus Bobby Roode in a one-on-one match. And then Bad Influence versus Sting and Samoa Joe in a tag team match. So we just knocked out both matches there. Next, four-way tag team title match. We got Gunner and James Storm, Garett, Bischoff, Wes Brisco, Bromans, and Chavo and Hernandez. So it's a four-way. You might be saying, yo, why do you have Garett, Bischoff and Wes Brisco? Wes got kicked out of Aces and Eights. Personally, if I was in control of the whole Aces and Eights thing, I always would have had Garett and Wes as a team. I thought it was a complete waste. Like, you have all these guys, and the whole point of Aces and Eights was to take over TNA, right? Now, what's better to take over TNA than winning like a bunch of titles? Of course, you got the world title, but what about the X Division title? What about the TV title? Well, they had the TV title. What about the tag team titles and all this stuff? And I always thought like it's like TNA's tag team division was pretty shit. I mean, it's still kind of in the shitter, but it's starting to get better, kind of. So I always would have had Garett, Bischoff, and Wes Brisco in the tag team like division, like feuding, whether they'd be the champions or feuding for the tag team titles. I always would have had them there. I always thought it was stupid that they didn't have them there, but that's just me. Anyways, I would have still kept them as a team. I wouldn't have taken Wes out of the team because what now? Aces and Eights is Garett, Bischoff, Nux, Bully Ray, and Brooke Tesmacher. Like, that's just an odd couple right there. So I would have kept the Wes with Garett and had him as a team. Of course, the Bromans, Robbie and Jesse, I like them as a team. They mesh well together with the gimmicks. And Chavo and Hernandez, you know, they've been having their problems with Gunner and Storm lately on TNA, which is, it's whatever. So I would have had all these guys in a four-way match. I probably would have the Bromans win, just because I really hate the team of Gunner and James Storm. It's just very thrown together and doesn't make any sense at all. And, you know, Garett, Bischoff, and Wes Brisco. Eventually, I would have them separate themselves from Aces and Eights. Just be like, you know what? We're better than this. We're second-generation superstars. I know Eric Bischoff's not a superstar, but, you know, I'm a second-generation wrestler, and they get these egos. They go off and do their own thing as a team. Eventually, Nux and Bully Ray would probably turn on each other. We'll talk more about that in the main event, but I don't know. I would have Garett, Bischoff, and Wes Brisco separate themselves from Aces and Eights. Like I said, well, we're big superstars. You know, we're second generation. We're too good for this biker shit. So I would have them separate eventually. Have Bromans as your tag team champions. I don't want to say they're the best tag team in your division. That definitely have to be Bad Influence. But with them busy with Sting and Samoa Joe, give the titles to Bromans. Feud with Gunner and James Storm, which what I thought was really stupid is when you had the Bromans as a team. You started immediately feuding them with Gunner and James Storm because, you know, you don't have any other tag teams, so that would be the only tag team for them to feud. And in one night, they killed Bromans. Like, their first, I don't know if it was their first tag team match, but one of their first tag team matches, you know, they confronted James Storm and Gunner, whatever. Then they have a match on Impact, and James Storm and Gunner beat them. and I'm like, what the fuck? You have this new team. Why wouldn't you build them as possible TNA Tag Team Champions of the future? You just had James Storm and Gunner kill them, and just basically be like, alright, I never want to see this match, so, I don't know. That was dumb on TNA's part. If it was me, I would have had Bromance probably steal the victory, probably have a tag team title match thrown in there leading up to Bound for Glory, Chavo, Hernandez come out, all this good stuff. So yeah, that is the tag team title match. We got 3 more matches. Next, we have a 3-way for the X Division title. Manik, Chris Sabin, and Jeff Hardy for the TNA X Division title. I don't know if I'd make this a Ultimate X match, probably, but yeah, we'll just make it an Ultimate X match. So the whole story going into here is at first when they announced that Jeff Hardy is going to be in an X Division title match of Bound for Glory, I was like, what the fuck? Like at first I thought it was like a waste. Like, Jeff Hardy's such a big superstar. Putting him in the X Division is like, that's what they did with RVD. Like, I thought RVD, like, it'd be cool to see RVD in the X Division, but then once he was in the X Division, they didn't really do anything with him. It was kind of just like, you know, maybe I would have rather seen him in the main event somewhere in the mid-card or higher up there. But in the X Division, I definitely see it as a demotion. That's just my opinion. But I think it'd work better for Jeff Hardy because, I don't know, I just think it suits him. And even though he's not that, he can't wrestle that fast-paced anymore, we know that he could in his prime, but he's getting older, you know, he's probably got some really terrible knees, and he just can't do the stuff he can. So at first I was like, Jeff Hardy in the X Division, that's stupid. Like, I immediately thought of RVD in the X Division, and that was pretty terrible. And then I'm like, the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh, you know what? That's actually pretty good. And I started to like the idea. So then my original X Division match on this show was Manik, Chris Sabin, and Sam Shaw. You know, with them releasing all these people from their roster, you know, they have a couple people that they have from Gut Check, not many because they released most of them. But I would have been like, you know, bring Sam Shaw into this. You know, here's another guy that you can add to one of your divisions, whether it be the TV title or the X Division, probably the X Division. And you know, he's a young guy. I think he's pretty good in the ring. His tattoos are pretty stupid, and his ring gear's pretty ridiculous. But I think Sam Shaw, you know, I don't want to say he could be something, but there's potential, and you never know till you try. So I would have had what they did for the past couple weeks. Like, the whole feud started when Manik, well, I want to talk about Chris Sabin a little bit too. Like, I don't know what the fuck they had planned for Chris Sabin. I don't even know why they gave him the TNA World title. Because they gave him the TNA World title, he held it for 2 weeks, and now he's back in the X Division already. I mean, now he's a heel and whatever, but maybe a Jeff Hardy versus Chris Sabin match, one-on-one at Bound for Glory? I don't know, just putting him back in the X Division was just like, what? And then, like, if you look at Bound for Glory, the real Bound for Glory, you put Samoa Joe back in the X Division, Austin Aries. I think adding, like, I haven't watched all the way up to the current product for TNA. I'm a little bit behind. But I believe Kenny King was involved with the X Division angle, and then they ended up putting Austin Aries instead, and then just throwing Samoa Joe in there was just, that's stupid, throwing Samoa Joe in there, because they don't have anything for Samoa Joe to do. Let's just throw him in this match, which I thought was stupid, but that's just my opinion. So what? Oh yeah, Chris Sabin. So I don't know what the fuck they had planned for Chris Sabin. You know, he holds the title, the TNA title, and then I don't know. Apparently he's freaking out and he's a heel now. Whatever. So my original plan was have Manik and Jeff Hardy, and actually I don't know. We'll see. Hold on. Let's build up this storyline. So the whole thing that started on the real TNA was Jeff Hardy faced Manik in a one-on-one match. After the match, Chris Sabin attacked Manik, and Jeff Hardy made the save. That's how that whole thing got into place. On the next week, I'd probably have Chris Sabin take on Sam Shaw, and you know, Chris Sabin, he gets DQ'd because he just, you know, he's crazy now apparently, and then, you know, he attacks Sam Shaw, but whatever. Jeff Hardy makes a save again, or maybe Manik makes a save. Probably Manik. And then, you know, maybe Jeff Hardy has a talk with Chris Sabin. And was like, yo, you know, I know you're angry you lost the TNA World title, blah, blah, blah. And then Jeff's like, or Sabin's like, you're just, I don't know, maybe you're a drug addict. You don't know what I'm going through. I'm a world champion, blah, blah, blah. Just goes heel on him. And eventually that would lead to a four-way. You know, I'm going to change this match to a four-way. Manik, Chris Sabin, Jeff Hardy, and Sam Shaw. I'm going to do that, yeah. I don't know, I like Sam Shaw, and I think he'd fit good in the X Division. That's just my opinion. And I'd make this a four-way match for the X Division title. Now, who would win? I wouldn't have Sam Shaw win because that's too early. I don't really like Manik as champion, especially the way he holds the belts. Like, he wraps it around, I don't know, almost like a fucking, like a man purse. And I just hate that. So I'd either have Chris Sabin or Jeff Hardy win. Probably have Jeff Hardy almost win, and then Chris Sabin, I don't know, hits him with the ladder or something. Or, I don't know, what would be a good thing? Maybe throw a fireball at him. That's always cool. I don't know, you know, Jeff Hardy's really close to winning the Ultimate X. Bam, Sabin comes out of nowhere, takes out Hardy, wins the title. Builds a feud between Chris Sabin and Jeff Hardy. I think that'd be pretty good. Alright, next, our co-main events for Bound for Glory. Because, you know, you got the main event, but you need the second big match to kind of build a pay-per-view on. And that match, for me, would be Kurt Angle versus Austin Aries. I would love to see this match. I honestly don't know why they're doing Bobby Roode versus Kurt Angle. It just seems kind of dumb and out of the blue. Maybe I gotta watch TNA and it'll make sense. But to me, it's so stupid that they're having a matchup Bound for Glory. Personally, I think Austin Aries is the best opponent for Kurt Angle. Of course, Kurt Angle's he has had a leave of absence lately because he had the DUI and then he went to rehab. So he hasn't appeared. And, you know, a good way to come in fresh, you know, he comes in, he says, you know, on my time off, I've been watching all the superstars on TNA Impact and blah, blah, blah. And there's one that's really impressed me. A la Austin Aries. Calls out Austin Aries. Says, Austin Aries, you are the future of this company. You are one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. Puts him over like $1 million. And says, I want to have a match with you at Bound for Glory. So that would set it up. Bound for Glory, Austin Aries, Kurt Angle. Let's see who's the better man. You know, Angle put him over as the future of the company. Angle, probably the best wrestler in that company right now. He could have a good match with anybody. And just having these two guys at Bound for Glory, I think that'd be an amazing match. Like, I really have no idea why they're not having Austin Aries versus Kurt Angle at Bound for Glory. It's your biggest pay-per-view. You're supposed to pull out all the big guns. You're supposed to pull out all these big matches. I think this would be a huge match on Bound for Glory. Austin Aries, Kurt Angle, one-on-one. Give them like 20 minutes. They'll tear the house down. Like, it blows my mind why TNA is not doing this match. I would pay to see this match. Like, that's how good I think this would be. But whatever. You know, we'll have it on my Bound for Glory, which I think is an amazing match. Whatever. And, of course, the main event, AJ Styles versus Bully Ray for the TNA World title. I didn't change the main event. I thought this was the best main event to go in to the show. Of course, AJ won the Bound for Glory series. He's been feuding with Dixie lately. Dixie's turned heel. Bully Ray, I don't know what's going on with the Aces and Eights thing. But, you know, the main event, I think this should be the main event. Now, you should have like for the finish, I'm trying to think of the finish and plan it out. About I don't want to say, it was a month ago, less than a month ago, you had Bully Ray attack Mr. Anderson, take him out, pile drive him on the stage. He gets stretchered out. In the main event, you know, let's have the ref get knocked out, and then maybe have Nux come out, hand Bully Ray a hammer. Mr. Anderson comes out, makes his return, attacks Nux, takes the hammer from Bully Ray. Bully Ray's like, what the fuck? Gets hit with a Pele kick into a Styles Clash. 1, 2. Maybe have Dixie Carter come out, get involved, stop the count from AJ from winning. I don't know. There's a lot of things they can do with this main event. I don't know if they'd want to have Dixie involved. Personally, I'd probably go with the first scenario that I made. Have Nux come out, try and help Bully Ray. Mr. Anderson comes out, makes a save. And then you'd have Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson going into the next. That'd be a huge feud. And then eventually blow off Aces and Eights. And that's what I would do. So you'd have a lot of good stuff going in, like, after Bound for Glory, a lot of big stuff. You'd have Jay Bradley, Eric Young feuding. You would have, who else would be feuding? The Bromans would probably be feuding with Gunner and James Storm. You got Chris Sabin and Jeff Hardy feuding. Now, to end the show, you know, you have Mr. Anderson attack, or make the save from Bully Ray using the hammer on what's it called? On AJ. Maybe even have Luke Gallows come in as well. Doc. Don't call him Doc, because that's just a stupid fucking name. And then Doc and maybe Mr. Anderson make the save, leading to a tag team match later on. Bully Ray and Nux versus Doc and Mr. Anderson. I don't know. But eventually, to end the show out, we have a special appearance. So the lights go out, or not, don't have the lights go out, but you have Dixie Carter come out and say, you know, AJ, you might have won the TNA world title, blah, 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 but you're not going to be champion for long. Cue in, he gets attacked. Who does he get attacked by? John Morrison. Now, a lot of people are like, why would you bring in John Morrison as a heel? Because the people wouldn't expect it. That's why. You bring in John Morrison, you say, you have Dixie bring him in. You say so he attacks AJ after the match. Dixie comes out, cuts a promo saying, blah, 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 you might have won the title, but you're not going to hold it for long. John Morrison comes in the ring, attacks AJ Styles, and Dixie's pretty much like, hey, this is my new AJ Styles. This guy is a huge star. He's won big titles in other companies, blah, blah, blah. You build him up as this huge superstar. He's going to be the new AJ Styles. He can do everything you can do. He can do it better. And he's going to be the face of this company because, I don't know, you can even say it's best for business or whatever. And then, bam, John Morrison, AJ Styles feuding into the next show. I think that'd be pretty good. I think that would, like, make Bound for Glory amazing. If they were to follow what I do right there, I think that'd be an amazing show. AJ Styles, John Morrison. Who wouldn't want to see that? Like, that'd just be amazing. And yeah, he would be Dixie's. Like, Dixie would bring him in to pretty much be the new AJ Styles. And yeah, I think that sounds like an amazing Bound for Glory to me. I don't know if it's just me, because I made the whole show, but I think that sounds like a solid card from top to bottom. Now, you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Would you buy this? Would you buy TNA's Bound for Glory? What would be your dream card? I don't want to say dream card. Now, when I think of dream card, I think would like take all the superstars from TNA and maybe even some free agents like I did with John Morrison, and I don't want to say and build the best possible show. Make it realistic. All this stuff that I said, it's realistic. It could happen. They could go in this direction, but they didn't. And that's how I would build Bound for Glory. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys at WrestleMania when I book that show. So hopefully Bound for Glory is a good pay-per-view. Like I said, it doesn't look too good. Some of the matches just seem like a clusterfuck, especially that Ultimate X match and the Kurt Angle Bobby Roode thing. I don't know, that seems out of left field for me, but that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments, like I said a couple times already. And I'm dragging on this outro, so I'm just going to end the video. See you guys at Bound for Glory, or at WrestleMania season. And let me know in the comments, what would you buy? Peace out, guys.